Hey y'all, welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsay Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And
on this episode,
come on, of season 4, we doing black. We doing black because it's Black History Month and we black. And we talking black love.
Yeah.
So let's just dive right into it. Aaron came up with this topic. He wants to know my favorite black love couples.
Yes, black love couples. We have grown up on black love couples. I feel like the 90s into 2000s.
Yeah.
Like the fictional black love couples. We're not talking like Barack and Michelle.
No. Yeah. To be clear, fictional, anything that you could watch, right?
Yeah. Honorable mention that probably didn't. I don't know your list, so I'm not gonna say. But
who's an honorable mention?
Because I didn't put them because of the scandals. It was
yes.
Okay.
Everybody know who we talking about.
So, but fictional couples that we grew up with watching, black couples where they were married or they were together for a long time, stuff like that. And so this is our list. We each have a separate list, and this is from movies and TV. We combined them both.
Yes.
So
okay, this is top 3, right?
These are your top 3. No,
top 3.
You don't have to do a particular order. Do your top 3, and then we'll talk about each one.
Okay.
And see if any of them overlap.
Top 3. First one that comes to mind is, of course, Martin and Gina. I think that, and we just watched their reunion episode. Yeah. It's been out for probably a year now, but I don't know why I was like, it's a series. It's a series. I just kept thinking it was going to be a series, and it wasn't. It was a talk back. But I loved Martin. Like, I watched Martin probably younger than I should have watched Martin, but my parents were the type that you could stay up late if it was a black show. Like, watched...
you were able to watch, what was it?
The one with Eddie Griffin.
Live in Living Color.
Living Color. What is that one? It was like Malcolm
and Eddie.
Malcolm and Eddie. Any new black show, and my dad was on top of it. Any new black show that was coming out, we were huge supporters of it, and my bedtime was a strict 7 o'clock growing up. It was crazy. Ooh. Right? Because nobody was sleeping, and we had a hallway at our house. So sometimes, I remember leaving the room and coming out and sitting in the hallway or kind of sneaking into the kitchen and whatever. But if it was a black show, we could stay up late and watch it. Case in point, Martin and Gina, my all-time favorite. Like, the show was great, but those two made the show. This couple, like, I really thought I was Gina. I'm for real Tisha Campbell. So I so much so that I kind of did certain things when we were dating that was kind of like Gina. I was like, you go, baby. You go, boy. Like, I would do stuff, and I don't even know if you recognize that. But I was like, that's cute. And he loves that. And just their whole chemistry about them. Martin and Gina, first
and on their talk back on the reunion, he was like, it had to be her. Remember, Martin? He was like, I had to get her.
He had to get her. He knew, he was like, if I get her, everybody else is gonna be in line. Like, everything else is gonna fall in order. And to his point, absolutely, because when they were not cohesive, the show fell apart. And, not blaming it on Tisha or anything like that, but it was just very evident. And I think, what's his name? Keenan Wayans, My Wife and Kids, he knew he had to have her. It was like Tisha Campbell is the wife. It was she was the wife in My Wife and Kids, and he said it somewhere, and I remember reading it or hearing it or something. And he was like, I knew when I started the show that I wanted Tisha Campbell. And
so that's your honorable mention. Are they on your list?
They're on my list. This is Mark. Oh no, wait, My Wife and Kids.
Yeah, Michael and
No.
I don't even know her name.
No, they're not on my list because that relationship was.
It was great. They were hilarious.
They were great. They were funny, but it was too much making fun of each other. And Aaron, you know this about me. I don't make fun. Like, I don't play like that. Like, he always played around. He was like, yo, big head. And he was like, in your weight.
Yeah, people like that.
People, and if that's your relationship, that's your banter, that's okay. I don't do that.
Okay, so what is it about Martin and Gina that you like, that puts you on the list? They're on your list. I'm talking about top black fictional couples.
Yes.
They're on your top 3 list.
They're on my list because I liked how they worked together and independently, and really mainly looking at Gina. I mean, I liked how she, she had her job, she had her career, and she put that as something that was important to her, and he knew that, and they communicated that, and I liked their whole relationship of her supporting him and him supporting her, with his radio show, all the things. I liked that about their relationship. I think they had real arguments, like in the show, that big argument, I don't know if anyone remembers it, that big argument where she bought him a booty for their anniversary, like a booty sculpture, and he was just like trying to be with his friends, like doing the butt, and she walked in like, if you didn't like the gift, why didn't you say nothing? And then they kind of had a big blow up, and he recognized he missed her. And just when I think about their relationship and how he was trying to be somebody else in front of his friends and then be the real person in front of her, that realness, that love, and it reminds me of young love, even though they really weren't that young.
They were like 20 something.
They weren't that young.
His own apartment.
Yeah, exactly. They were well established, but it was young love, and I liked it, and I smile even thinking about it. So. And you need to keep that part of some parts of that relationship, even as the relationship matures. So, Martin and Gina, my number 1.
Oh, that's your number 1?
That's my number 1.
I'm not going in any particular order.
Okay.
So I'm going to, we'll just go back and forth, right? One.
You go.
Mine's is, I guess I gotta say, and it might be recency bias.
Okay.
But Merch and Candace from Best Man and Best Man Holiday and the Best Man final chapters.
Okay, let's talk about this because I actually, what did they have? 3 movies before this?
No, it's just Best Man and Best Man Holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's the final chapters, which is a series.
Okay.
And so they kind of went from movies to TV. They transitioned.
Okay.
And one, I kind of got to see the whole progression. You get to see when they meet.
Yes. How did they meet?
Candy. She was a stripper, and then
you like that,
and then you. Oh man, I love a dancer. Give me a dancer 10 times out of 10.
Okay.
So they meet. He was in a toxic relationship, and then he gets with her, and she is more than just a stripper. There's deeper intellect inside of her. It's not just superficial things, and they get to know each other. And if you haven't seen the final chapters, I would suggest to go see it. Watch us first, though.
You can watch it.
But no, you got to have like a Peacock subscription or something like that. But it's really good.
It is. We could have a whole episode about it.
We could have like a couple of episodes about it.
We just went to a wedding, and someone else in attendance at the wedding has saw final chapters, and we talked about this. Heated. It was a heated conversation about all of the couples. It's really good for relationships, but I'm sorry, keep going.
Merch and Candace, I really feel like they were a real representation of a modern couple that is healthy. They were a healthy couple. They communicated, and when they weren't communicating, there was tension. But there was also like at the end, it was like, hey, we know why it was tension because we weren't communicating. They were off doing separate things, having their own journeys and stuff like that. But it was, to me, it was one of the more realistic takes on, two people who have a business together, who are busy, and they have kids, and the kids are growing up, so they have to parent, but they also have to have fun and within themselves and be people. And the dynamic with friends outside of like Candace, that was all Merch's friends.
Yes.
Those are Merch's friends that she's kicking it with. Yeah. And she actually got into the group, and one of the girls used to date Merch. the toxic relationship.
Yeah, but they were toxic for each other didn't mean she was toxic for somebody else.
So I really I like them, and that is like my surprise. That's my wild card. I don't think that's gonna be on anybody's list. But that's a good. If you think about it, when you're talking about fictional black couples that are functional, and you could look up to them, and you could be like, you could learn lessons from them, and not be toxic and dramatic and stuff like that. Merch and Candace is in my list.
Okay, that is a surprise. I do agree with you. They were the healthiest couple on that show. Absolutely, by far. They communicated really well. I really liked how when, like you said, when they weren't talking, you could feel it, and they kind of like separated a little bit. They were still functioning together as married people and as parents, but they weren't like living together as a team.
They weren't being friends.
So
basically.
that was good. And then they were like, you know what? Let's renew this vow. Let's just have this moment together, and let's say all the things that we missed about our lives while we weren't communicating, which happens. I mean,
and Regina Hall. By all means.
Regina Hall, got it. You love her. Okay.
So it's on you.
Okay, my number 2. Ooh, what am I gonna say? Oh, Lisa and Will.
From Fresh Prince?
From Fresh Prince. I'm gonna do Lisa and Will from Fresh Prince because number one, I grew up watching Fresh Prince. So I'm like, I recognize this. I know it, and I can see these episodes. But also, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, here is this guy who clearly been hopping around with different people. And he's like, no, it's something about her. I can't shake. It's something about her. And she's like, he's goofy. I'm not really da-da-da-da-da. The father don't really like him. She kind of moved on. And it's something about him. And so I think just in that little snippet, like, and I'm putting on what I think.
Yeah,
okay, so this is
I mean, you can. Because they're fictional. You can make up whatever you want.
But I'm like, you know what? God had a hand in this because he was like, maybe there's something about these two that they need each other to help each other. And so they didn't understand why I like this person or why I'm attracted to this person for whatever reason. But they worked for each other. And Uncle Phil was like, look, you got a good one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he was trying to like coach Will and help him to become the man that he saw him to be. So
that's an honorable mention.
Uncle Phil?
Uncle Phil and Vivian. That's a couple.
Yeah, that's a couple. That's a good couple. Especially in the beginning, because they showed that soft, gentle side of Aunt Viv and the sexuality and the love there. But then
it kind of got like you said with my wife and kids, kind of like she always used to talk about his weight and stuff like that. So
and it's one thing to make your partner better. Yeah. And it's another thing to really like, it can turn, and to reuse the word again, toxic. It can kind of be like a verbal, like off-putting signal. And I felt that way toward the end, but that was a different Aunt Viv too. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know.
But Lisa and Will did not end up getting married.
They didn't end up getting married. Thank you for mentioning it. And that's okay. And and here's the thing. I would rather, my mom used to say this all the time to me. When you're engaged, you are not married. So until you say I do, you can say I don't, and you can say no, and it can be like, this is not for me, and that's okay, because there's seasons and there's recognition of things that are happening. So I liked them as a couple while they were a couple. That's okay.
They were a cute couple.
They were cute.
The iconic was when he first said "I love you" and he was in the big suit.
Yes.
And his pants was down, and Ashley was
because
there.
I love you.
Yeah.
What did you say?
And Ashley was like, "Oh, I'm back." I haven't watched the new one.
Me neither.
I wonder if they're gonna add like I'll watch it. Because it's supposed to be more dramatic. It is a black show.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's mine. What's your second one? What you got?
My second one is probably on a lot of people's list as their first. it would be Quincy and Monica from Love and Basketball. That's the name of our very first episode. Love and Basketball. Very first episode, season one, episode 1 is called Love and Basketball. And I mean, how could you not? They grew up together, childhood, they were sweet on each other. You ain't my girlfriend no more. You got to ride my bike. And then they grow up. they live their lives. They really love each other, but they don't really know how to love. Especially Quincy doesn't know how to love because of his father. And it's and she knows that she loves him and she wants him. And he's about to get married. And she was just like, "Oh, when he hit that double or nothing, because she was distraught, she thought she was gonna beat him in basketball, which is funny because, like, come on now.
We need to play a clip right here because we did that. Remember when, like, for Black History Month, we always do like.
Folks playing Love and Basketball, right? Double or nothing.
And we did that whole like, boom, I remember.
Yeah.
And then he turned around and said, double or nothing. And she said,
yeah.
It was, that is a moment that it's like, that lives rent free in my mind. I love that moment. That should be on my list. I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
That was
that's
a good couple.
On your list. That's the couple. That is the couple. I feel like when people think that's the couple, Quincy and Monica, Black love fictional couple, Quincy and Monica, hands down. If we did a bracket, they would definitely
be. Yeah, I'm sure people would vote for them. But here's the thing, though. We talked about ending with Will and Lisa. Talk about ending with Monica and Quincy. In the end, she was able to, people always think you can't have it all. She pretty much was able to have it all. She got her man. Mm-hmm. She still got her career and her baby. And he was there supporting her.
Yeah.
So, but what...
You have it all right now. What are you talking about?
I will. Okay. Yes. But
exactly.
But what about how do you feel about Quincy? Like, what do you feel about? Like, is he?
He got his partner.
Yeah.
Like, to have your partner is such a blessing to have, and they went through their ups and downs, but he got his partner, and a really good partner is invaluable, right?
Yeah.
And so Love and Basketball, Quincy and Monica, that's on my list. Now it's time for the Am I Wrong segment of First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. This is the part where I say I did something wrong, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. So, I haven't really been drinking water like that this year, but I'm gonna fix that. And I have not really been filling up our water tank. We have it's not a Brita, but it's like
it's zero water.
It's zero water. It's a filter.
It's a filter.
And I watch the kids when Lindsay goes to work at night, and so they love to inhale water. And I do a lot. I wash the dishes. I clean up after the boys, like a house sweeper. I do a lot.
First of all,
at night when the boys go to sleep. But the one thing that I'm kind of like and I take out the trash. I do not refill that filter. And I've been seeing that Lindsay has been refilling the filter, and I said thank you to her the other day. And I just want to know, should it be, if it's empty, should I be the one refilling it, even though I'm not really drinking water like that? I mean, I'm not saying it like I'm not gonna be drinking water like that, but I'm just saying Lindsay drinks water all the time, and she leaves her cups everywhere, which I gotta clean, but it's fine.
You turned it. You veering.
am I wrong? Should that be a part of the whole list of things that I should do when it comes? It's like a nighttime routine. So in the morning, she can have, because in the morning you refill it and you have to wait for it to cool down, right?
No. Most of the time, this is when I refill it. Most of the time, I refill it when I come home from work late at night before I go to bed, and it is all the way down. So I be parched at night. But no, I mean, here's the thing. I feel like tasks like that is kind of like, it's always helpful if you see the need, feel the need. Okay. So, but recently someone told me that just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's a whole nother topic. But I feel like if I see the need, feel the need, case in point, I do leave my water cups everywhere, y'all. I drink a lot of water. Some of them have lemon in them. Some of them are like warm. Some of them are cold. And I gotta have water all the time. I think this probably started from when I was breastfeeding, but I'm like, I have to have water. So, I could do a better job at putting my water cups away. But if you see the water cup, let's put it away. So if you go and you're cleaning, you're done, and you're like, oh, I see the water needs to be filled up so that it can filter itself down. Why don't I just go ahead and do it? Plus, you're drinking more water. So you can tell him he's wrong and or suggest, just suggestions, what we could do differently. Yeah. You can DM us on Instagram, First Comes Love TCM.
You can call the voicemail at 412-LOVE-POD. That's 412-5683-763.
You can email us, let's talk at firstcomeslove.com.
Okay, so we're back. We already got, you got 2 down on your list. You got 2 down on my list. So we have Martin and Gina. You got Lisa Will. I had Monica and Quincy. And I had Merch and Candace.
Yeah.
What is your number 3? Mine's is in no particular order, but you have an order.
No, I mean, okay. Sure.
What is your black fictional couple?
Yeah.
Since it's because it's Valentine's Day. Around Valentine's Day, it is Black History Month.
Yes.
Your black fictional couple.
Yes.
Who is it?
Okay.
Who's on your list?
Okay, my last 3, and I could really do a top 5, but the number 3 that I'm gonna say right now is gonna be Dwayne and Whitley.
Yep, that was my last one.
Really?
That was my last one.
You can't have a complete list without Dwayne and Whitley, especially in our generation. It's so crazy because I will say that I watched Martin more than I watched A Different World, but it doesn't matter if you watch one episode of A Different World, you were pulled to Dwayne and Whitley, whether they were like kind of like being coy or whatever it is.
Even though he was trying to get with old girl in the beginning, but that's how college is.
That's the reality of college and dating.
Yeah.
Right? Like technically you was with my friend.
And that was like 12 years old.
Doesn't matter. We was
Ron
younger.
Wasn't Ron trying to get
Ron was trying to get, and that was his boy. But you don't know how you are and how the other person is until you hang out. And that's going to go back to our conversation about being friends first and understanding each other, because then you're going to be like, wow, maybe I was physically attracted to this person, but I'm not actually attracted to this person. And that's figuring that out, because Whitley and Ron would have never worked. Remember when she was trying to make him jealous? That one episode, and she was trying to make Dwayne jealous because Dwayne was with somebody else. And she was like, come on, Ronald, we're going to go out. And she's having fun with him, only to make Dwayne jealous. And he's like, I like this girl, but he's doing things that maybe he doesn't actually like.
Yeah, he's just trying to. So
they wasn't going to work out anyway.
And the fact that they end up being like, Dwayne ended up like, because they were so yin and yang, like, he was from New York, and she was like some Southern belle, rich daddy.
Yeah, even their like you said, their lifestyle and their families are not the same, which is complete opposite of us actually, because our families are similar. Yeah. So,
but that is, I mean, when she was getting married and he broke into her wedding and he was like, I do love you. He could have, you know, I don't know why he did that then, but
because he tried to tell her earlier. Oh, no. What? She fought for him. He was with Kimono. Kiki. And she fought for him. She would always be in his apartment. She would be around. And then this is the moment that I really like, y'all. This is the moment that I remember. She's pretending to be a maid, dusting his house.
Oh, yeah.
And she was Kimono. I don't know her. Now I don't even know her name.
Yeah, Kaiko.
Kaiko or Kiko.
I forgot.
Because Whitley purposely messed up her name over and over. That's some devious, mischievous stuff, y'all. But Kimono was like, okay, you're fired. Get out. Get your shit, Whitley. And she goes off. And Dwayne was like, yo, like, you can't talk to her like that. You can't fire Whitley. And Kimono was like, I didn't fire Whitley. I fired the maid.
Yeah.
And Dwayne says, she's not the maid. And I said, ooh! She said, well, who is she, Dwayne? Who is she? And he was like, it's Whitley. And then that's when he knew. He was like, you're right. I like Whitley. Like, he was with this other person. He was like, but I like Whitley. And so they kind of played that, like, I like you, but I'm not ready for you now. And then I like you, but I'm not ready for you now. But it works out.
Because sometimes, like, Kirk Franklin said this a long time ago. He was like, if you eat fruit that's not ripe, you'll get sick. So, like, getting into a relationship too early when you're not ready is not going to be helpful. It might be the right person, but it's not the right time, so it's not the right person.
It can't be right.
Yeah, because I'm a different person. From like today to tomorrow, I'm a different person. Yeah. So you like this person right now, but this person right now that you like is not the right person for you. Yeah. They might be that person, a couple months from now, a year from now. And I really loved their tug of war. They're great. These people that we mentioned on the list all had really good chemistry on camera. And I watched them as a teenager or like preteen. I used to watch these shows and just like model, like you said with Gina. I used to model like, okay, this was the representation to me of how relationships worked.
Right.
And so it was so cool because like giving you flowers, or like, you know, Dwayne always used to check Whitley, but he always checked her like when he let her wild out for a long time before he really checked her.
It would be cute. He'd be like, come here. And she was like,
Daddy.
And you get that.
But stuff like that. And so I pick up on it because, like, you know, we have our two young sons and they are watching our relationship. And Action watches us like a hawk. Every day he tells me that he's married to Lindsay.
He put on a ring this morning. He was like, now I'm married. And I was like, who are you married to? To you. It could be you, me, and Daddy. But he watches you. Yeah. And he watches how you love me.
Yeah. And so representation matters. And it's always good. I don't really watch that much TV like that. But those were that's my list. If you have a list or you want to, the rules about the list.
Yes.
Is if you want somebody off the list, you need to replace them, and you have to have a valid reason.
Who are your top 3 people?
Yeah, who's your top 3?
Who are your top 3 people and why? Because I think I make a pretty good list. Now that I talk about it, I'm pretty sketchy about Lisa and Will, especially because they didn't end up together. So I'm a little like,
I know, but they had their moments. Yeah, it's about the moments that you look up to. Like I said, when he was remember when he was trying to make her jealous? He was. Anyways, Will is funny. Their relationship was funny. Cause alright, so she went out with her friend who was like doing something.
Yes.
And then Will was on the phone and she was like, oh, he was like, well, I went out last night, and she was like, oh, you went out? And he was like, well, I didn't do nothing, and she was real.
She was ready or willing.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
That's not the way to do that, for sure.
But representation matters and Black lives matter.
And the thing about Black love, and this is what we had our conversation with when we were talking with Dr. Emily McKnight, is like you see these couples and you kind of not idolize, but you have snippets and you like little parts of them. And it's like, how do you get there? And so like with Murch and Candy or with Dwayne and Whitley, with the timing, it's like, how do you get to a place where you do have great communication, or you are healed, or you are in a good place individually to then get into a relationship and to proceed into marriage. And so like we see the relationships and we're like, we really like that. And like you said, great chemistry, all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Monica and Quincy, all of them. It's like you're rooting. The writing is spectacular. Great chemistry. And also like the realities of practicing love.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching us. If you're watching on YouTube, because we're on YouTube now, or if you're listening to us, thank you for joining us on this episode, First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. You can reach out to us and tell us your three, because I actually really want to know. I'm sure we missed people. Please, Instagram, First Comes Love, TCM.
TikTok, First Comes Love, TCM.
Yes.
And you can always call the voicemail at 412-LOVE-POD. That's 412-5683-763.
Email us, please. Email us, like, write to me. I love letters. Let's talk at firstcomeslove, then comes marriage.com.
See you next Friday.